Welcome to the Luxe Leap. My name is Reland Logan, and we chat about women consultants making bold moves, big wins, and the secrets to extraordinary branding, and sometimes Raylan's lip stain. So, I have a question. What if scaling your sales didn't mean sacrificing your humanity? Today's guest has built her career proving that human connection is not just compatible with growth, it's essential to it. And that's very true. Meet Ashleigh Early, a multinational sales leader known for her deep sales experience and a rare, nuanced understanding of human dynamics. She brings a refreshing, people-first perspective to high-performance world of sales, making her the go-to advisor for companies that value both results and relationships. Through her work with Other Side of Sales, Ashleigh offers fractional leadership, strategic advising, coaching, and sales content creation, specifically for organizations that know their greatest asset is the people behind the numbers. If you're ready to rethink sales with depth, empathy, and serious strategy, you're in the right place. But if you're ready to watch two powerhouse women have a laugh and a good time on a podcast, you're definitely in the right place. So welcome one of my really good friends, Ashleigh Early. Hi, Ashleigh.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Let the chaos reign.
Let it rain. I feel like sometimes we just need to overly prep people of like, the first time we met, everybody was on a podcast with no cold turkey because our other friend couldn't make it. I had just gotten out of the shower, so my hair's like dripping wet, and I'm sitting on the bedroom floor of the place I'm in right now because we were barely into COVID. And
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it might have been like my very first podcast episode of all time. And
full circle. Now you have your own podcast, and I'm your guest, and I no longer have a podcast. Look at how far we've come.
Like, oh my gosh, it's been almost 5 years.
Yeah, we recorded that in July. I think it has been 5 years.
That is.
I know. I'm on a different continent now.
You are you're not even in the States anymore.
Nope,
which is. We were talking before we got on here about where should this podcast go? What should we talk about? Should we be buttoned up? Should we not? We don't understand buttoned up together. So that went out the window. But, I actually am more curious about life as an expat and a business owner that I'm just going to jump straight to I'm going to forget all the questions that we just went over and ask you, what is life like as an expat and a business owner?
Okay, just nice easy softball to kick it off. Thanks. It's really great. It actually does create more opportunities than you'd think. Because I work with European companies who want to bring more of an American sensibility into their business. I work with American companies who like that I'm a little bit cheaper than some American people because I'm abroad, and so I can charge slightly different rates. It's really opened up a lot of doors. But for every door that it opens, it also opens the door to more chaos. So, for example, I spent about 5 hours this week on the phone with my Dutch accountant trying to figure out how to reconcile my Dutch books with my American books because I have technically two different businesses and how do they interact with each other. And that makes me want to open up the bottle of sake I have downstairs and just pound the whole thing. So... I love the work that I do. I love the people I'm working with. I love the conversations that we get to have and the problems we get to figure out. That would never have occurred to me to try and even would be problems. That's super fun. But yeah, the paperwork and the taxes and keeping all of that stuff straight is the stuff of my nightmares, and I hate it with every bone in my body.
All right. I completely spaced that you were going through that. And then as soon as you started saying, I was like, oh, shoot.
It never ends. It is year round. It's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah.
But the idea that outside of the container of the United States, I say it with so much love in my heart. One day it'll come back. One day that love will come back. But I feel like I'm in a bad relationship right now.
Oh, it's toxic.
It is toxic. And thankfully you get to watch it from the outside in. Does it feel like watching reality TV when you see what's happening in your home country?
No, it's more, and it's interesting, especially as an expat. And I think a lot of the other, let me preface a couple things here. One is something a lot of Americans don't understand is when you move abroad, you really fall into one of two categories. people who intend to go back and people who don't.
Ooh.
People who intend to go back, even if it's a couple of years, it's a different experience. And they don't tend to integrate as deeply. They can still absorb the culture and make friends and stuff like that. I'm not saying that, but it's a different experience than those of us, and I include myself in this latter category, who don't plan to go back. And there's a whole different community that's a little more out there, that is much more focused on ingraining and absorbing and really integrating long-term properly into whatever culture it is that you've moved into. And as someone in that latter category, that means I'm interacting with a lot more Dutch people, a lot more people who are native, as it were. And that means I get a lot of fun questions. So I get all the questions. Like, I'm not going to lie. One of my neighbors I met, and they was like, oh, American? I was like, yeah. So they have very little English, very little Dutch at that point. And they just, all of a sudden came over to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and went, Trump, why? And yes, I don't know why I made him Russian. I can't do a Dutch accent, which is pathetic. But literally just said, Trump, why? That was the conversation. I just shrugged and said, I'm here. And they're like, yeah. And then they just walked away. So you get some really interesting things. I regularly get people who will ask me to explain certain things. Like I had someone ask me about No Kings. Dating this episode we recorded a little bit. They're like, well, what is this? What does this mean? I got to explain a little bit of the history. I had someone else ask me a little bit about Hamilton a few years ago. And I had to explain.
We're all trying to figure it out still too, don't worry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there was all that. There's a lot of interesting things, but it really turns into this point where you get put, and it's kind of awkwardly being almost an American ambassador, which is hard because sometimes they're like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, so let me explain states' rights. So let me explain voter suppression. It's tough, and lately it's been interesting getting a lot of questions about Israel and America's relationship with Israel, which is like, hi, I have a degree in political science, and even I can't explain that. So it's really interesting. The nice thing, though, is to kind of bring it back to business. That very rarely comes up in business. The only time I really see it come up is people ask about my working hours. They get curious about why I'm in Europe. I've officially stepped to the point where I'm no longer kind of hiding why we left for Europe. When we first moved here originally, I was like, oh, we just always wanted to live in Europe. And that's true. But lately, like, why are you trying to live in Europe? I'm like, well, short answer is Trump. And people go, oh, yeah. Or they go, ugh. And then I'm like, okay, good. Now I know that we're probably not going to get along well. Because I can work with Republicans just fine. But I think you probably agree with me. I was raised to believe the most American thing you could do is disagree with somebody.
For sure. It's my favorite thing to do.
Exactly. So, but there's a disagree with respect to have a conversation. Yeah. And freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. If you think something's stupid, I'm allowed to tell you you're stupid.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I love consulting. I get to tell people in a way that's a little more direct. And I found a lot of power. I came from that in working with people and helping them figure these things out in a much more direct way than I had to when I was in corporate America, and had to be like, hey, have you considered, and what if we thought about this? And now I can just be like, hey, based on my experience, that's going to fail horribly.
And, I think you touch on so many good points, and you know what, as somebody who also loves to disagree with folks, because I was raised by attorneys. Like, I know nothing more than to argue.
Everyone in my thought I was going to be an attorney when I was a kid. Everyone.
Oh my gosh. Literally still hear it to this day. Raylan would have made a great attorney. Yes. And
yeah, but I don't like paperwork.
Yeah. I don't like writing that much, actually. Fun fact. And I don't want my view of the world to be so jaded. Like, that's my parents, my sister, my own boyfriend. I'm really surrounded by them, everybody. Just live a very jaded existence, and like, that's not something I want. But I also grew up in the military, and so I do have extreme love for this country. But I have extreme love for choice, and it feels like it's going away. And so it's very interesting, from a business perspective of watching it from both sides of the water right now. Like, your perspective of like, I left because of this. I started this podcast because of this.
Yeah.
And all because I was just tired of women's voices being constantly suppressed, no matter how educated or how qualified you are. It just seems to never be enough. And
No.
then we go and we start our own businesses because we're so tired of, like you said, in corporate, having to soften it or be told we have to be softer or smile more. I've heard all of the above.
Oh, yeah.
And that doesn't match who I am as a human being. Now, I'm nice, I'm funny, I'm all the things. But if I'm thinking and you ask me a direct question, I'm just going to bluntly tell you
Yeah.
what the answer is. And I don't understand why there's so much emotion around that. Because if we were to flip our genders, you never have to soften what you say.
No. It's, and this is, the older I get, the more not, I find it interesting. I don't find myself becoming jaded per se, but I do notice I'm less surprised, and which is annoying. But more at the point, it's learning which battles to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for me, when I stopped Other Side of Sales, the podcast, that was something I actually had a ton of guilt about, because like I don't want to take away one of the few sources for these sorts of things. Like, we also try to make sure the whole point of Other Side of Sales is to amplify minority voices in sales.
Yeah.
Like women, non-binary, LGBTQ, Black, whatever, everything you could think of. That was our whole shtick. And it was really fun. It was so helpful, but at the same time, it got to the point where it was just me. I just didn't have the ability, and it got to the point where I realized I had to put the oxygen mask on myself before I could put it on others. And I dealt with a ton of guilt around that. Tons. I still, even talking here, I could feel my brain going, should have kept, no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. And it was nice though, because it helped me pivot back to kind of my own brand and my own business. And this is kind of the point I'm getting to, is the corporate world is changing. Slowly. Yeah. But it is. And that's the thing. We all know this, but in our own personal lives, when you want to make a big change in your personal life, you don't make a big change overnight. That's why crash diets don't work. It has to be slow, consistent changes are what add up in the long term. So it is, and it is happening. I mean, the very fact we're talking about microaggressions, the very fact that we're aware that there's a problem, we're acknowledging there's a problem. 10, 11 years ago, people were still denying there was a problem. They were denying that this was even a thing. So I'm not saying it's enough. It's not. But I'm trying to focus on staying hopeful and noting the progress that I am seeing happen, while then just continuing to do the work that I know I need to do to make sure that I'm around, that the people I care about are around, that the voices that I care about are around. And at the same time, also making sure I'm cheering on the people who are being out and are being forward, because I know how hard it is to carry that torch. Yeah.
I mean, it is, you're right. It is different. Let's go back to a time where everybody was locked into their homes. And during that time, I decided that I was going to watch Glee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was binge watching Glee. Like, of all the random things to binge watch, that's what I wanted to watch.
I watched a 30-part documentary on the Black Plague. We aren't judging anyone doing anything during COVID.
Okay, a lot of us also watched Tiger King.
That was just good TV. I'm sorry. That's just good TV.
It's the reason why I don't like telling people I was born in Oklahoma. Anywho.
I was gonna say, if you haven't seen it yet, Chimp Crazy is like the sequel. It's the chimp version of Tiger King, and it's the same producer. So good.
I'm on Love Island right now, and that's just a hot mess in and of itself.
I'm waiting for Too Hot to Handle to come back.
I love Too Hot to Handle. See, look, the two of us have no ability to
My dad got me turned on to Too Hot to Handle.
My dad loves reality TV.
I still can't imagine. My dad turned me on to Billie Eilish and Too Hot to Handle. I don't, to this day. Like, my dad's in his late 60s, and he's the one who's like, do you really like her? I'm like,
you know what? Round of applause for Pops.
I know. I love my dad. My dad's amazing. My dad also he does work with this this nonprofit called the Center for oh god, I'm gonna get the name of it later. I'm gonna look it up and I'll come back. But he does work for Center for Healthy Workplaces out of Seattle, and their whole thing is doing coaching to create mentally stable and mentally safe and healthy workplaces. It's really cool, actually.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so your dad's with it. I think that is absolutely incredible. Like, where was I? I was about to talk about boats. Oh my goodness.
We
Like
were okay. Wait, sorry. COVID watching.
Glee, Glee, then somehow we end up on Tiger King. But anyways, going back to microaggressions and change happening.
Yes.
When you have a smaller business, because I really don't like the term small business, when you have more flexibility because there's less people, you can go really fast. However, I feel like corporate and just community in general, that's like trying to turn a barge ship. Like it takes a long time for that ship to turn, and you're right. Like, well, Glee, if you go back and watch it, or just even watch the first 3 episodes, you are going to feel so uncomfortable.
It's a little cringe.
But yeah, because like at one point we put a kid who's in a wheelchair in a garbage can. The most like the black girl in the show, like she can only have the big voice parts and she never gets a solo. Like even talking about it is like making me like tense up a little bit because it's so gross. It was gross when I was a kid. It was definitely gross watching it as an adult in COVID. And it does show you that we have come to a certain point.
Yeah.
However, we got so much further to go.
Yeah. And it's the other thing too is you have to remember, if you look at any sort of societal change, it's always it really is kind of like that hiker going up the mountain where it's like up a little, back a little, up a little, back a little, up a little, back a little. So like right now, touch wood, I'm hoping we're on a little bit of a we're absolutely in a backslide. hopefully it's minimal. I'm scared, but hopefully it's minimal, and then we go right back up and we keep going. So this happens a lot, especially when there are big corrections. Me Too was a giant correction very, very quickly. I think a lot of people don't realize how big of a correction that was. I mean, I think of just even among people that I know, and myself as a survivor of sexual violence, I didn't know how many other women in my life. I knew the stats, but I didn't know how many of us, because we just didn't talk about it.
We don't talk about it.
And then all of a sudden we all talk about it. And now it's the sort of thing where 5 years later, it's become this thing that people are talking about. We're talking about menopause. We're talking about periods. There are laws in the books all around the world to eliminate period taxes. For those who are unaware, look it up. It's awesome. There's a lot of this stuff that's happening, and it's happened very quickly. The last time we saw a big surge of stuff like this, especially around women, was in the 60s, around birth control, women getting their own bank accounts, which in the US didn't happen until 78, and a bunch of other stuff happened very, very quickly. And then there was a bit of a backslide towards conservatism, and this sort of stuff happens. But it's been a lot, and I am hopeful that the Z's and the alphas coming up behind this will be so common to them that should more things try to get pulled away from them, there will be a very, very strong reaction.
It is very much so, and more alphas than Z's, because I'm towards the end of millennial, so half my siblings are Gen Z.
You're a zillennial.
I'm towing that line. I think my sister Mariah and JR for sure. But so it is. I'm going to be the one who says it. I don't have a lot of faith in Gen Z. They're a more passive aggressive party.
Gen Z is very similar to Gen X, I think, in that way.
Yes,
in the sense of like it's a shoulder generation where like they came in, they're kind of riding between two very strong personalities. Millennials are really strong personalities. We get pushed around a lot, and we have no buying power, but we are strong personalities. And our parents are the boomers. We're also very strong personalities.
Well, my parent is a Gen Xer, so it's like. You're right. They are. I know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And then people kind of realize everything kind of skips. So like the X's had the Z's, and now the millennials are ones having the alphas.
And the alphas are alpha-ing.
They're I love them. They're scary.
They're awesome. Yeah. They're so incredible.
No, I'm like a professional aunt to all of my friends' kids, and I'm living. Oh my gosh.
Those little girls give 0 Fs. No. I'm here to tell you, we birthed a generation of CEOs that are all women because they give 0. Like, they will look at every little boy and be like, I said no.
Yeah.
And then you just like look at them and they're like, Leah was mean to me. I was like, but was she though?
Well,
Or did she just tell you the truth?
and they're being backed up.
Yes.
They're being backed up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It
like
is
you,
so, it's just,
like our generation, we were in school, and you know, not to get like down the drama train or whatever. Like my assault, I was 8, and it was a classmate, and I was very fortunate that no one blamed it on me.
Yeah.
No one blamed it on me. But like I know plenty of other people who have had issues, and they were blamed, or it was, what were you wearing, or you drunk, and this and that. None of that is flying anymore. And well, it's generally, but especially with these younger kids, they know, they understand consent. It's
they
fabulous.
understand consent. They will tell you all about it, even if you're like, I love you, but I'm still your parent and you still have to listen.
Yeah.
But me and Grayson on a regular basis.
Shout out to pay teachers more.
You should pay teachers more. This is ridiculous.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you have to require having a master's and then still only get paid like $80K is a joke and a slap in the face.
$80K is a lot. I mean, I say 80K is not a lot for the work they do. $80K is a lot more than most teachers make. Most teachers, once you look at how much it all comes down to after everything else, are closer to 40.
Oh God. We are, we just had a really big strike.
Yeah.
So I still think they should get paid 6 figures. Because...
Oh no, it's and every single country that, I mean, the Nordics are known for this. Nordics and Scandinavia is known for this, but like, yeah, it's shocking when you pay teachers more and people have to compete for those jobs. Quality of education goes up.
Goes way up.
Shocker.
And it's like, these are the children that are going to run the country later.
Yeah.
Vote on decisions later. Don't you want people to be educated? Because if they're not educated, you end up in the situation America's in.
I was going to say Trump is a symptom, not the problem, and he's the symptom of an illiterate populace. And let's not forget that a third of Americans are functionally illiterate.
Yes. And so, and those
I'm not exaggerating. You can look that up. That is actually true.
I know it. I personally know it's true. But for anybody listening, like, yes, like,
that shocked me when I read that a couple months ago. I was like, what? And then I was like, oh God, that's totally right. But
when you live in spaces like us, where you have your own business, you're doing these things, your world is surrounded by folks who, to a certain extent, have more than the average American, have way more than the average global citizen.
But it's another thing altogether to realize how...
See it.
Yeah, it's another thing to see it. It's another thing to experience it. And it's another thing altogether to start calling things out. Like, one of the things I'm really big on is actually removing education requirements from job descriptions. Because not everyone has the ability, or it is the right thing for them to go to college. And that doesn't mean they don't have the skills to do the job. In fact, if anything, in many cases, it means they've got more skills, more maturity. You know, so everyone's road looks a little bit different. And I understand when there's 500 applications you need to look through, you want to find as many easy screeners as you can. But a lot of the work that I do, especially with trying to get more people into sales roles and get more diverse people into sales roles, because your buyers are more diverse. So you need a more diverse sales team to get better results. But a lot of that comes from trying to make sure you look at things like, okay, if you want people to commute into the office every day, let's look at how much you're paying them in relation to what they're going to be able to afford. Can they live on this, or are they going to need support from mom and dad? If they're going to need support from mom and dad, that's fine. Be aware of that. But then also understand you're only going to get, realistically, a bunch of white males.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's functionally the people who are most likely to have the access to that support. Or can we do hybrid, or can we do these other things? Do you really need the college requirement? A lot of companies, when I break it down for them, it's like, oh, well, we want the college degree because we want people to understand the tech. It's like, okay, so you want people that have this college degree and whatever, and that means according to your calculator, you're going to have to pay them $5 to 10 grand more annually, and that will, compound over time. What if you just give me $5 grand and I'll train them in a week? And they're like, you can't do that. I'm like, yes, I can. Because it's so specific. It's not that hard.
Well, it's very specific. I think that's the thing that people seem to forget. It's like, so we want somebody with a college degree. Okay, that's great.
What about
because we want them to know the tech? Well, what if they went to school for history?
I have a degree in music and political science, and I've sold cybersecurity to Fortune 5 companies.
Like, and that's the point, is like, whatever you had your degree in doesn't mean that you're going to understand the tech. Also, whatever you learned in college is already outdated by the time you leave.
Yeah, college is, I love my dad. My dad told me, study whatever you want in college. Again, go dad. Told my mom backed him up on this, but he said study whatever you want in college. College is a checkbox. It's showing you complete something you started, that you know how to study, and you know how to learn and advocate for yourself. So that's what I did. And
very few people use the degrees that they have.
Unless you're doing something that is a proper pipeline, like pre-med, engineering, if we're going like pre-law or something like that, like unless it's a trade, and I say trade with the utmost respect, not a diminutive. Unless you're going into a trade, any of these kind of arts and science degrees, who knows where you're going to end up. And that's okay. That's fine.
And that's, I agree with you. It's completely fine. Like, I weirdly do use my degrees now, but I barely used them before this business.
Yeah.
And that is, to your point, it's just kind of like, I remember when I finished, I didn't even really tell anybody. And I didn't go to graduation.
Oh, I threw a party. I worked my butt off for my degree, but that's a whole different thing. And I'll say this too: people use their degrees, they use them in different ways.
Yeah.
So people always ask me like, "Well, wait, music? How does that?" I'm like, "Oh no, you don't understand. Like, it's a perfect correlation to sales. I know how to learn lines and make them sound real. I can perform well under pressure. I used to make a joke. They're like, how do you handle this? I'm like, I used to be on a stage with a dozen other girls who looked and sounded exactly like me and have to know how to stand out. Yeah, I think I can handle email. How do you handle rejection? Oh yeah, I also got rejected from roles for those 12 other girls who looked just like me for
every
that made no sense. Yeah.
Nobody talks about how music and theater will prep you for the real world.
Or traumatize you, or both.
All the above.
Yeah, all the. I actually recently started singing again, and I'm like, oh, I am unpacking all of this.
Do you ever find times where you sing and you just start crying?
Oh no,
it's like so cathartic.
Oh, it's full therapy. Well, I do that in my car, like a proper American. I just drive around sobbing, throwing Adele.
Wipe off your face. I'm like, hey.
Oh, it freaks my husband out that I can go from like full sobbing to be like 2 breaths. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the show, guys. And he's like, what the? As long as I'm not on camera, I'm fine, because I blotch so bad. But
my goodness,
I can't fake the face, but I can fake the voice.
I did it yesterday. I literally did that yesterday, and I was like, all right, well, moving on. It's for anybody who's never done music or theater, like, just go to improv classes. Your whole world will change.
I think
I'll
say this. I think most women know how to do this.
Oh,
like, there's something instinctive about being able to shut it down for a sec and put on, I call it newscaster voice, and go immediately from the world is ending, I'm freaking out, to tonight at 5.
Tonight at 5 o'clock, you're going to find out about. I think it has to do with the fact that even if you choose not to be a mom, or you biologically can't for some reason, you are already predispositioned to do. Your child, when it comes out of the womb, learns from the micro expressions on your face. So you're a little bit more in tune with how to handle the micro expressions that are happening. And it makes children feel unsafe if they see you crying or upset. And so we are naturally designed to be able to turn it on and off a little bit faster than the average bear.
Yeah, and the average, and that's a huge element of toxic masculinity, is men just not feeling it at all. So they don't know how to shut it off because they don't know how to turn it on.
Yeah. But then we are expected to do it around them to keep them comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, gentlemen. We're no longer your mommies. You have one. Go talk to her.
Or don't.
Because she doesn't want to deal with it either. You're a grown-ass man.
I was just thinking of all like I'll say this, some of the most emotionally aware men I know have the most emotionally unaware mothers.
Oh, for sure.
So like you said that, I immediately thought of 2 guys I know who are just the sweetest, most aware, available people, and their mothers are just wretched.
It's, oh no. Well, like, I would say yes and. because I know I'm
Okay, improv.
hyper emotionally aware, but I think you're going to see it happen more in Gen Alpha than anything else, because I'm told all the time Grayson's super empathetic.
Yeah.
Except for when he's around mom.
Yeah.
And then he goes to being a full-on terror. But I love my baby. He's so cute.
He's disgusting.
I know. I'm just trying to make it so he's nice all the time, because he will be a full-on heartbreaker. And it hurts.
There's nothing wrong with being a heartbreaker as long as you do it with respect.
I know.
I mean, look at Pedro. He's amazing.
They're just so cute when they're little. And I actually had to say this year that he couldn't have the other teacher, because so there's a male teacher and a female teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I am friends with the male teacher, and I know the female teacher, she's sweet as pie. That's the problem. She's sweet as pie. And Grayson just has to bat his little eyelashes and he can have whatever he wants. Yeah. And so I had to be like, no, he cannot be in her class. Yeah. He will run all over her. He'll never get his work done. Like, it is going to be hell for the sake of both of them. Yes. I go, he needs to be in his class. And even the male teacher was like, no, Grayson needs to be in my class. Like, all of us were like, listen, we're not playing this game. We know what the score is. And so it's very interesting to watch just the dynamic and how that dynamic plays from school to adulthood, and our role as adults to children right now to help change the narrative. Like you said earlier, they will be a force, though. That group of kids is going to be a force. We are the world. We are the children.
They won't even know what that's from.
Grayson will, because he loves Michael Jackson.
Excellent. Raise them right. Raise them right.
Grayson has done a whole compilation dance of Michael Jackson, and it is incredible.
I'll say there actually is a great documentary on making that song.
Yeah, I remember it.
So good.
Yeah. Also, the fact they did it in a Grammy night,
yeah, they did. It was the American Music Awards, I think.
Yes, the American Music Awards. Can you imagine how tired they were?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Just I knew everyone was in it, but then seeing literally, I'm like, that's Steve Perry. That's my journey love.
Well, and just the fact that they go into it and it's we don't know who's going to sing what part. You sing that part.
Yeah, just and then it gets down. Yeah, it's so good.
It's wild. And then to hear in real time how Michael Jackson wrote music.
Yeah.
And the fact that many people never realized it was truly him.
He was so incredibly there are not words for how much of a genius he really was. And which makes everything about his life is just so tragic. If you really stop and look at it.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it also goes to show how you start to assimilate to your environment.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was around really big named musicians who have shaped the course of musical history. Yeah. And then he grew up with that.
Yeah.
To grow up with Diana Ross and all these people who look at you like you're just a little kid and not this mega celebrity, and you become a mega celebrity and they still just look at you like you're the little kid.
You're just little MJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
And I'll say this, and I am not comparing the two, but this is where when I hear that Dolly Parton is Miley Cyrus's godmother, I'm like, yes, this is why Miley's a little nuts, God bless her. But that's why she's got I think that's genuinely why she's got such a good head on her shoulders, because her parents were smart enough to surround her. They saw the talent. Yeah. People around her saw the talent, but they made sure that she was surrounded by people who saw the talent, but also kept you're just baby Miley. No, you're baby Miley.
You're welcome. They are actually a very normal family. Her sister and her mom used to shop at the Nordstrom I worked at in Arizona.
Oh, fun. Yeah, that's the sense I've gotten to. I don't know much about them. I'm not a huge. But yeah, she has a few songs that I really like, and then the rest I'm kind of it's a little young for me. But
says the woman who listens to Billie Eilish.
Yeah, but I mean it's good. My dad's the one that listens to Billie Eilish. It's like, did you catch her concert? Oh, I didn't even know what, who?
Like she had a concert, Dad?
What?
Oh man, my dad does that to me often too, though.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's interesting, but yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway, hey, so we're supposed to be talking about marketing and business.
no, we're not. We're
We do.
supposed to show what it's like
We
to actually have a business as women, and this is what it looks like.
and this is, and I'll say this, and this is after doing this. So I've been running my own consulting for unofficially for like 6-7 years, but formally for like a full 5 years now. Doing these sessions is also a part of 1, good business, 2, good networking, and 3, mental health. So if you don't have someone that you're doing this with at least once a week, find someone or contact us. We will put you in touch, or just do it ourselves. Because it is genuinely, like, when I don't do sessions like this, my work suffers.
It does suffer. And so you have to have friends in this way. And honestly, I think we've done a great job of like bouncing back and forth of like, this is reality and like this is how it ties back. And then like tangent. It's also what happens when you have 2 women who have ADHD. We have no concept of a linear line.
What?
But don't get me off track.
Squirrel. No. Actually, I looked out my window and I'm not even kidding. There are parrots outside my window.
Wait, there's like parrots that just freely fly
Okay,
there?
so you know there are parrots in San Francisco?
No, I don't remember
Okay,
the
there are
parrots.
parrots in San Francisco. They got loose hundreds of years ago, or like 100 years ago. Now there's like a huge flock of like hundreds of them, and they kind of terrorize the city. We have I think 70 or something here in Leiden, and they're just like bright green parrots. They just fly around. It's a thing, and it's hysterical because when I first moved here, it was January, and I looked out the window and I saw a parrot, and I thought I was hallucinating. So yeah.
I love how you say
I'm
they
like,
just
oh,
fly
yeah,
around. Like, what else are they supposed to do?
I don't know, but the idea of wild parrots in a climate that freezes freaks me out still. But there apparently is like an aviary they go to when it's too cold to be outside, and they have like caretakers. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just going to switch gears. How has your marketing strategy adapted to your brand growth while being out of the country?
The biggest thing for me has been honestly focusing on accepting that I am a business. So when it started, it was just, oh, it's just me and people will like me and they'll come and find me and I'll figure it out. And then about 2-3 years in, it turned into this switch of, oh, I don't really have a solid business plan or a business pipeline, and I need to get some stability so I don't lose my mind.
So
Ashleigh,
that's
where
the
the marketing
being
strategy
a parrot
actually
in a cold climate.
Sorry?
Is that like being a parrot in a cold climate and having to find an aviary?
You know, it's less fine. It's less a parrot in a cold climate and more like the frog in the pot, where it's like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I am not fine. So it was more that. And then it came to actually formally, while I was running the business for a while, it was almost putting on an autopilot and the newness of it and figuring it out. And then about 2-3 years in, which is where a lot of people fall out.
Yeah.
It was doubling down and going, okay, no, I have to actually go and like come up with a plan. It doesn't have to be this big, heavy thing. That was, I think, one of my first mistakes was I went way too heavy with it. I had a 6-month thing and I paid for a bunch of posts and I paid for this. And it was like, it was just way too much. But just having a plan and having some structure around it was a big, big, big deal. And it's funny because earlier we were talking about how like corporate America changing, it's like it's a big boat.
Mm-hmm.
It's less about, I think, about the size and more about the proportion. So if you're a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 person company, you can pivot way faster than a big company can. But in some ways, you can't pivot nearly as fast because you don't have the horsepower behind you. So for me, it was figuring out what's that realistic bandwidth look like for me and for the contractors that I work with and stuff like that. What's a realistic brand look like? What does a realistic marketing strategy look like? For one, I don't want to get more business than I can take. And 2, I want to make sure I'm getting the right business so I'm getting good bang for my buck.
And honestly, I feel like people say we want the right business, but understanding how to filter for the right business, because when you do have the right business, it amplifies you and gets you more. A lot of folks are still living in a world of word of mouth.
Yep.
But if your word of mouth is coming from folks who you're like, that was not my favorite or not a perfect fit, you're going to continue to get more of those.
Yeah.
Because people hang out with people who are like themselves. Opposites rarely attract. I love all of you dearly. That's just a magnet thing. So it's really important that people recognize like what is the right fit, because you only have so many hours in the day. So how did you determine what the right fit was?
The hardest thing for me to figure out was what are people going to pay for? Because I'll be honest, the top 3 things I like to do are not things that people are willing to pay for easily. They're add-ons. So I have to go figure out, okay, what are those things? And those things, those kind of core things, honestly change every 18 months.
Ooh, what do you mean?
So specifically, like when I started, I was doing a lot of fractional work. It was the height of the pandemic. People were downsizing. So I came in and helped a few teams through some downsizing. And then basically they would hand over some sales leadership to me rather than a full-time leader, because they went from 8 salespeople down to 2. You don't need a full-time leader for 2 people.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was doing a lot of that. Then it moved into people were growing again. So I was doing a lot of founder boot camps. Hey, let's figure out how to help this grow. Let's talk about how to build a sales process, go from there. Then it moved into a lot of project audits. Okay, you've built, but you built too quick. Let's figure out what's going right, pivot, go from there. Interestingly, I've now come back around and fractional audits are back popular again. So I don't know if that's market condition or that's what, but it's understanding, like the thing I love to do the most is coaching. I love coaching.
Yeah.
But the people that I love to coach do not bluntly have the money to make it worth my while. So the companies have to fund it, and companies don't want to invest in coaching for these specific types of roles and stuff like that. But when I add it as an add-on to strategy, to audits, to stuff like that, that's where it makes business sense. So it starts with what are people willing to pay for? Then 2, what are the things that, to your point, people need and people talk to each other about?
Yeah.
So when I do an audit with a new person, it typically results in 1 to 2 referrals, because they'll talk with some of their friends, be like, oh, I got this girl to come in and she gave me all this great data. It's like, oh, God, oh, I need that. Boom. Go over, repeat. Is it fast? No. Is it predictable? Sometimes I have months where I get 3 of those who come in, and I have 6 months where none of those come in. That's where marketing can help kind of, I call it lowering the amplitude, kind of gets a little more consistent throughout the whole thing. So, and it's something, I'll be honest, I do not have all the answers. I'm still constantly tweaking and fixing. And I just came off of a almost 2-month break from LinkedIn that started as just me being overwhelmed and not being able to think about LinkedIn, and then turned into a conscious, I'm going to step back for a bit because nothing broke. And now I'm like trying to ease my way back in, because I'm like, I could use some more clients. So I'm going to start being more visible again. So we're all figuring it out. And I think that's the other side of this too, is giving yourself the space to prioritize what you need to do in the moment. And sometimes what you need to do in the moment is take a step back and stop.
And breathe.
Yeah. Or whatever it is you need to do. Focus on client work, breathe, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your health. Just do nothing. It's all good.
Doing nothing is the hardest thing you can possibly do.
It really is. Because especially as an entrepreneur, your brain goes, oh, I could be doing client work. I should be doing this. How can I make this a social media? No. Just stop for a minute.
I literally now go up to this park on the hill and just sit there. No cell phone. And I just sit. Sometimes I listen to meditation music if I don't want to listen to the teenagers around me. But I just sit.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot of peace, everybody.
I do audiobooks. I'm a full escapist. I have to just some crazy fantasy.
I was told I actually have to face whatever bothers me. So I have to spend time with myself. And if anybody's watching on YouTube, that face said it all.
I'm pretty sure someone's told me to do that, and I'm just ignoring them.
It's really hard.
Yeah. Well, I will say one of the things I do love about Europe, because before we got on, you mentioned going to the spa. I'm obsessed with European spas, and especially the spas in my area, because they are obsessive no cell phone zones, because they're also full nudity. Required. Which I found so empowering as someone who's got some body issues. Like the first 30 minutes was deeply uncomfortable, and then I was like, no one cares. And it was so freeing. And so now it's one of those things where if I go, I'm forced to put my phone away. I can bring a book. That's it.
Oh yeah, you can't have your phones in ours and the one I go to either, but
It's
we do have both phones.
So apparently I need someone to forcibly take my phone out of my hand, but that's been every time I go, I'm like, I need to do this more often.
Yeah, separating from your phone is like a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It truly is a beautiful thing. And the idea, like, it might seem counterproductive, but the ideas that happen when you are forced to be away from something, you don't have anything to compare to anymore. You have to think about how you would do things and how you really feel about things.
Yeah.
And enjoy the moment.
There's a reason that our shower thoughts is one of the most popular subreddits on the internet. Yes. Because there's a reason you have shower thoughts, because you're alone with your thoughts for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And especially if you're in business.
The best ideas happen wet.
It's one of those things I've noticed too, like in business, especially in like marketing, positioning, and product and stuff like that. I swear, the moment you get stuck on something, it's like go sleep or completely disconnect from it. Your brain will, in the back of like your subconscious, figure it out.
It'll sort it out.
You have to step away. You have, if you like that instinct to stay at your computer and figure it out, like I guarantee if you're hearing this and you're like, oh, whoops, and you've been sitting at your computer trying to figure out something for a client or for your own business and you're stuck on it, this is your sign. Finish listening to us. Don't hang up on us yet. Finish listening to us. And then put your phone away. Go do something else for like 2 hours or a day or whatever. But leave it alone. Step away.
Your brain will figure it out. Your brain is way, way more powerful than anybody really gives it credit for.
And like genuinely don't think about it. I guarantee when you come back to it, you will see something you were missing.
And you will solve it in 5 minutes.
Yep. Let me be on 5. I'll give it an hour. But yes.
Oh my goodness. I feel like for me, it is like instantaneous. I'm like, oh. And then it might take me an hour to complete, but like the solve happens almost instantly. It's so beautiful. All right, my friend. Well, we are getting close to time, which means I have 2 powerful questions to ask you.
Oh, goody.
Are you ready?
No. Yeah, sure.
I love the deadpan stare I just gave you. What does a day living a luxurious life look like for you?
A luxurious life to me is a day where I can find the joy in it. So whether that's working or not, it's just there is something in my day that I can just find some real joy in. That's luxury to me, because that's not something you can always find.
I love it. And in one word, what is your primary motivation in business?
Freedom.
Why?
Work to live, not live to work.
That part. That was the simplest answer I think anybody's ever
I love my work.
Covered.
It's great. But if I had nothing else to do, would I still do some of this stuff? Yeah. But if I were a billionaire or whatever, yeah, I'd spend a lot of my time doing other stuff too.
I would see the whole world, get to know people's histories.
Yeah.
I love it. Alrighty, my friend, where can they find you?
The best place to find me these days is on LinkedIn. So spell Ashleigh, Ashleigh, early. Not that crazy spelling, crazy personality. But always trying to give you a little bit of honesty. Or a lot.
A little bit?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it comes in waves, and we love it. Oh my goodness. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to be one of my greatest friends. It's been a great 5 years, Ashleigh.
Yeah.
And for those of you who made it to the end, thank you. If you're driving, please continue to do so safely. And if you've been doing other things while listening, we hope you got some golden nuggets and you stopped at one point and took out your notebook and wrote them down. But hey, you can always replay this. So we'll see you next time on the Luxe Leap, and we'll talk soon. Bye, y'all.